grossly misrepresented. But the resupply controversy has intensified questions about the carrier's condition and Washington's ability to sustain the war against Iran. Iran's missile campaign has forced American commanders to defend bases, ships and logistics hubs across the region. Interceptors are consumed, aircraft need protection. Warships must keep moving. The USS Abraham Lincoln has left and USS George Washington has now entered the Persian Gulf. American military planners describe the move as a usual one, but a closer look shows it is a forced retreat.
Underestimating, let's say, the Iranian power at the end of the day. The Americans have been thinking it's a matter of, let's say, 1 week, perhaps 2 weeks, to get a regime change in Tehran. They've missed the story totally, because they have totally underestimated the value of the Strait of Hormuz on the Iranian side. They are condemned just to negotiate. But Trump doesn't want to show this weakness ahead of the midterm elections in the US. This is the situation where we are.
Now, behind the scenes, the Pentagon is examining a smaller American military presence in the Gulf once the war ends. That points to a possible strategic reset. Donald Trump wants to claim victory, reduce the risk to US forces and avoid a conflict that keeps expanding. The United States maintains around 40,000 military personnel stationed across nearly 20 key installations and bases in West Asia. Spanning from Jordan to Oman, Kuwait and Qatar host major long-term army and air force support infrastructure. But leaving is not simple. Iran can threaten bases, shipping lanes and energy routes. A hurried exit could look like defeat, and Iran is firm that the Strait of Hormuz remains shut until all their demands are fully met.
And let me make it clear, until America implements its commitments under the Memorandum of Understanding, including lifting the blockade on the release of frozen assets, lifting the oil sanctions, ending threats and military operations on all fronts, and other conditions that America has agreed to under the understanding, the strait will not be reopened.
The US president is maintaining a bold posture and sticking to its core demand that Iran cannot be left unchecked.
Well, they want to make a deal, but they're not going to make the kind of a deal that I feel is necessary. Look, we're in there for one reason. Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon. You understand that? Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon, and they won't have a nuclear weapon. And right now, them building one after what we did previously with the B-2 bombers, going to be a long time behalf. But Iran cannot have, it's very simple, they can't have a nuclear weapon.
Washington has now turned to economic pressure. Trump's administration promises sanctions unlike anything Iran has faced. Tehran says they will fail. Iranian officials insist pressure will not break the country's resistance or force surrender.
Iran's missiles are stretching far beyond West Asia. With Europe on its radar, now NATO is on alert. Iranian officials have warned that any American base used to target Iran will be considered a target for Iranian missiles, with new missiles reaching far beyond West Asia. Now NATO is saying it is prepared for anything. Will Iran target American bases in Europe? And would that war escalate into far beyond this region? Our next report discovers.
From Berlin to Paris and from Bulgaria to Cyprus, Europe is now watching Iran's missile threat with growing concern. After targeting US military positions across West Asia, Tehran is reportedly considering whether to take its retaliation beyond West Asia. Reports say Iran has examined possible strikes against US military assets in southeastern Europe, including targets in Bulgaria and Cyprus, if Washington escalates its military campaign against Iran, and that has put NATO on notice. The alliance says it is prepared to address any threat and will do what is necessary to defend its members. NATO also pointed to 4 occasions this year when its air defenses intercepted ballistic missiles heading towards Turkey from Iran. Iran poses a range of powerful missiles. One of the most widely used missiles is Sanctions, also called the dancing missile, which can change its trajectory mid-path to confuse and invade the interceptors. Yet the Sanctions represents merely one arrow in Iran's expanding quiver. In its retaliatory attacks against Israel and the US, Iran has developed a wide range of ballistic missiles with different capabilities. Some of its missiles are designed for long-range strikes, with reported ranges stretching thousands of kilometers, allowing them to reach targets across the Gulf and beyond. The concern is not just about where Iran could strike, but how far its missiles can reach. In March, Iran reportedly launched 2 ballistic missiles with a reported range of around 4,000 kilometers towards the US-UK base at Diego Garcia in the Indian Ocean, marking a significant demonstration of its long-range missile capability. Iranian officials have also repeatedly warned that foreign bases used to launch attacks against Iran could themselves become targets. That warning has already been felt in Europe. Iranian Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi recently urged Bulgaria and Cyprus to reconsider allowing their territories to be used for US military operations. So the question now is whether the Iran war remains confined to West Asia or whether its missiles could open a new front on European soil. From the Gulf to the Indian Ocean, and now with Europe in the conversation, NATO is preparing for what could be the next stage of this escalating conflict.
Russia is warning that Israel could push itself to an existential crisis. A top Russian military commander said that if the war continues to escalate, Israel could cease to exist. Now, these remarks came as Moscow and Tehran deepen military cooperation, with reports suggesting that Russian supplies were coming to Iran amid this war. Take a look.
The West Asia war is no longer limited to West Asia. Russia is now entering the picture. Moscow is warning of consequences that could go far beyond the current battlefield. Western intelligence has long doubted that Beijing and Moscow are behind Iranian firepower. Multiple reports have documented that how both Russia and China have been a steady supplier of weapons and technical guidance to Iran. The accuracy of Iranian missile and drone attacks have stunned the US forces. Increasingly, the fingers are being pointed towards Russia and China. Now, a senior Russian commander has come out and made a statement which is raising eyebrows. Lieutenant General Abti Alaudinov, a deputy chief of Russia's main military political department, says that Israel could ultimately disappear as a state. Speaking to Russian state-owned news agency TASS, Alaudinov said the war in West Asia would only escalate. Russia accused Israel of seeking to draw the United States and the wider NATO bloc deeper into the conflict. The Russian lieutenant general then warned that Israel could overestimate its strength and, in his words, cease to exist as a state. The remarks come against the backdrop of deepening Russia-Iran military cooperation. According to an NBC News report citing a European government document, more than 24 ships have traveled through the Caspian Sea to help replenish Iran's military stockpiles. The reports say the shipments included ammunition, drone components and TNT. The developments have also drawn Ukraine into the wider equation. On July 25th, Ukrainian forces struck an Iranian vessel in the Caspian Sea that Kyiv said was carrying military cargo between Iran and Russia. Iran, however, said the vessel was a commercial ship and claimed the attack killed one sailor and injured another. Tehran condemned the strike as an act of aggression that could further expand the war. The incident was followed by a so-called frank conversation between Ukrainian Foreign Minister Andriy Sybiha and his Iranian counterpart Abbas Araghchi. The deepening Russia-Iran ties have come as both countries face pressure from the West. Iran has long supplied Russia with military equipment and drones, including Shahed-type drones that have been used repeatedly in Russian attacks on Ukraine. Now, with Moscow allegedly helping Tehran replenish its military stockpiles, the West Asia conflict is taking on a wider geopolitical dimension, and Russia's latest warning about Israel's future only adds to the growing concern that the conflict could spiral far beyond its current front lines.
Turkey and Israel are edging closer to a direct confrontation. Now it all started in Syria. Israel struck a Syrian airbase saying it was preparing to host Turkish forces. Now Washington is stepping in, trying to de-escalate, and is working on a deconfliction mechanism between Turkey, Israel, and Syria. But the question is, will Turkey and Israel start a war? Take a look.
The immediate flashpoint in West Asia is Syria. US has warned that both nations inch closer to war. The escalation happened when Israel struck the Abu al-Duhur air base in northwestern Syria, saying it was acting to prevent a Turkish military deployment.
We will not tolerate Turkish military presence establishing itself as it moves south. It threatens us. We conveyed that clearly. Now we saw that Turkey intends to establish presence in the airport southern to its lines and close to Aleppo. So we conveyed a message. How would I define the message for you?
Turkey rejected that justification, saying there was no Turkish forces at the base and denounced the strike as an escalation. But behind the airstrike is a much bigger strategic dispute. Ankara has emerged as a major backer of Syria's new government, while Israel is determined to limit what it sees as hostile military entrenchment on its northern front.
Our efforts and contributions towards preserving Syria's sovereignty and territorial integrity and helping it achieve stability and security will continue with determination.
And that is where the two countries' security calculations are colliding. Militarily, Turkey is a formidable power. It has a large standing military, a substantial reserve force, a major air force, and one of NATO's largest militaries. Global Firepower's 2026 assessment ranks Turkey among the world's top military powers, with a large inventory of aircraft, armor, artillery, and naval assets. Israel, however, has a different kind of advantage. Its military is smaller in manpower, but it has high-end air power, advanced intelligence and surveillance capabilities, precision strike systems, and a multi-layered air and missile defense network. Israel also operates the F-35I, giving its air force a significant stealth and long-range strike capability. So a direct war would not simply be a question of who has more troops or more weapons. It would be a contest between Turkey's scale, industrial capacity, and strategic depth, and Israel's technological edge, air power, and intelligence capabilities. But there is another major variable, which is alliances. On August 7, 2026, Turkey, Saudi Arabia, and Pakistan signed a joint defense agreement based on collective deterrence. The agreement says an armed attack on one of the three states would be regarded as an attack on all three, The pact does not name Israel as an adversary, and Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan has said it targets no country, but its timing is significant. It creates a new security alignment involving Turkey, Saudi Arabia, and nuclear-armed Pakistan at a time when Israel's regional relations are already under strain. And this raises the bigger question: could Syria become the trigger for a much wider West Asian confrontation? Washington clearly does not want that to happen. US Special Envoy Tom Barrack has said that the Israeli strike on the Abu al-Duhur air base nearly triggered a direct military clash between the two. For now, there is no indication that Ankara or Tel Aviv wants an all-out war. But the red lines are getting closer. Turkey wants a stronger role in post-Assad Syria. Israel wants to prevent any military power it considers a threat from establishing a foothold there. And with new regional defense alignments taking shape, every new strike or military deployment now carries the risk of a much larger escalation.
Houthis of the Yemen are turning the Yemeni Red Sea shore into another confrontation region in West Asia, with drones, missiles, and threats to project power far beyond their reach. With their total control on Bab el-Mandeb Strait and their targeting Saudi oil ships, now the question is, how far could that go? Take a look.
The Houthis may not control the sea, but they have found a way to make the sea a weapon. Missiles on the coast, drones in the air, and commercial ships in their crosshairs. The Houthis do not have a conventional navy, but they have something almost as strategic: control of territory overlooking the Red Sea. Long-range missiles, drones, and the ability to threaten commercial shipping. Their target is increasingly clear: Saudi Arabia and Saudi-linked shipping. In July, the Houthis declared a maritime blockade against Saudi Arabia and warned ships against entering the Red Sea. The group has since claimed attacks on Saudi oil tankers and facilities. And the threat is no longer just a warning. On August 11th, a commercial vessel was attacked near the Bab al-Mandeb Strait. Reuters reported that 4 crew members and 2 Yemeni rescuers were killed. The 2 Houthis claimed the ship was carrying Saudi military equipment, a claim that has not been independently verified. The Houthi missile threat has also hit Mocha. Reuters reported that the port was struck by more than 25 missiles in recent days, forcing it to halt commercial and maritime operations. The attacks killed 7 people and cost millions of dollars in damage. And now Yemen's government is warning that the Houthis could seek greater control along the Bab al-Mandeb coast. Yemen's foreign minister has accused the group of trying to replicate Iran's strategy in the Strait of Hormuz, using a maritime choke point to gain leverage over regional powers and global shipping. That is the core of the Houthi strategy. The group inserted itself into the wider war when its geography gave it maximum leverage. But rather than directly confronting the United States, much of its pressure has been focused on Saudi Arabia, a target closer to home and one where the Houthis have a long history of conflict. The consequences, however, are global. Bab al-Mandeb connects the Red Sea with the Gulf of Aden and is a critical route for international shipping. Reuters reports that many tankers are now avoiding the strait, while some Saudi oil shipments are being routed through alternative paths. And Saudi Arabia is already responding. Riyadh has announced plans for a multinational maritime defense coalition to protect shipping and energy routes through the Red Sea and Bab al-Mandeb. Turkey, Pakistan, and Egypt are among the countries that have backed the initiative.
That's all we have for you on this episode of the West Asia Post. I will see you next week with a brand new lineup, always bringing you the most recent updates, news, and ground reports from West Asia. I'm your host, Reddy Francis, signing off from Beirut, Lebanon. For more global news, keep on watching WION World is One.
No matter what your day throws at you, stay in the spa state of mind with the Kohler Spa at home.
The Israeli drone is above our heads all the time in Lebanon. Around 169 buildings have been totally reduced to rubble. Every time there's a warning, they just come to this public area where there are around 200 tents, and they reside for a while, and then they go back to their homes. Some of the Lebanese people enjoying their times, and some others forcibly displaced. From the southern suburb of Beirut, I'm Reddy Francis for WION World is One.
No matter what your day throws at you, stay in the spa state of mind with the Kohler Spa at home.
In-depth coverage of global issues broken down into facts, figures, and simple words. Backed with analysis from field experts who truly matter, because we believe in decoding the real picture for you. Week after week, creating the maximum impact. Watch WION Wide Angle at these times on WION World is One.
No matter what your day throws at you, stay in the spa state of mind with the Kohler Spa at home.
The architecture of war is changing. Geography is no longer a shield. The battlefield now stretches from sea to space. New weapons, new technologies, new theaters of conflict. From the factory floor to the firing range, from India's frontiers to the world's biggest defense exhibitions. Meet the veterans, industry stalwarts, and innovators as India builds its military capabilities. Your 360-degree insight into the future of warfare. Watch Defense Pulse with me, Shivan Chandra.
In the last 12 months, India's defense technology has taken some big steps forward. INS Mahendragiri is bringing stealth, sensors and networked systems to the sea. Rustam is giving the forces an unmanned eye that can stay aloft for hours. And INS Malwan is designed to hunt submarines in shallow coastal waters. How do you stop a swarm of drones? That is where Bhargavastra comes in. India's indigenous counter-drone system is designed to detect and deal with unmanned aerial threats, including multiple drones approaching a protected area. But the threat is not always in the sky. Out at sea, India needs warships that can see first. Commissioned this year, Mahendragiri is the 6th Project 17A stealth frigate to join the Indian Navy. Mahendragiri's design is intended to reduce its signature, making it harder for an adversary to detect and track. Developed by the Aeronautical Development Establishment, Rustam is an indigenous family of medium-altitude, long-endurance unmanned aerial vehicles developed for the Indian Armed Forces. Commissioned in July 2026 at Karwar, INS Malwan is the second Mahi-class anti-submarine warfare shallow watercraft to join the Indian Navy. Built by Cochin Shipyard, the vessel has more than 80% indigenous content, a sign of how much of the technology and engineering behind India's naval capability is now being developed and integrated at home.